welcome back to another video here on my channel. In today's video I'm going to be going through my current draft for the Fantasy Premier League 2022-23 season. Now if you like today's video, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel, follow me on Twitter, join my mini league, help me grow this community. Now let's get into the video. So I didn't really have time to make any graphics for this as I've been very busy this week, but I wanted to give you guys a team reveal or a team selection video, and it will be better for the next couple of weeks, but for this week I'm just going to use the FPL page. Now on screen you see my whole team. We're not going to waste any time. Aaron Ramsdale is in goal. He's very good for save points and bonus points, so for 5 million I just think he's the one to go with. Now in defense I've gone quite big with Alexander-Arnold, Cancelo, Robertson and Perisic. They're all quite good. I think they're going to score you many points this season, and they're very easy to downgrade and upgrade the midfield or the forward position, so I think it's very easy to start with them and it still leaves you quite flexible. But in midfield we've gone with Saka and Salah. Now I really like those two together as an 8 million slot and a premium slot, while we're also going with Bailey and Aronson. Now Aronson is quite a punt here, while Bailey is more of going with the masses. I've heard good things from Villa fans, I've listened to some podcasts and they all say he should start for the beginning of the season. Now if he is benched, I do have Patterson on the bench willing to come on to help the team. Now Aronson on the other hand, he did provide 3 assists for Leeds in the last preseason game, so I think he could represent really good value for money for 5.5, but he might be rotated later on in the season, so you might need to sell him, and I'm just willing to take that risk, and I might move him on after game week 2. So in game week 3 I might actually move him on for Wissa at Brentford, who I also like as a punt, but he has Man United and Leicester in the beginning of the season, and I don't like that as much as Aronson's fixtures. Now in the forward line we have Haaland and Jesus. I've gone with Haaland because I don't want the hokey cokey between him and Kane. Now if one of them gets injured or the other one scores or whatever, it's a big debate. Everyone's going through it. I'm just going to go with Haaland. He amassed 1.6 XG against Liverpool in a game where people said he sucked. So if that's 1.6 XG in a game he sucks in, I don't want to be on the opposite side when he actually does do the thing we know he does, score goals. So I do not have him in my team. I don't want to be on the other side when he starts to get going at Man City and inevitably scores a hat-trick. Now next to him we have 75% owned Gabriel Jesus. He is really good. I think he has had a brilliant preseason and you can't go without him. He's just too risky. Just keep him in your team for the beginning of the season. We'll see what happens. Now on the bench we have Iverson. I have read and listened to some guys close to Leicester and they think Iverson will be number 1. Maybe not at the start of the season, but later on in the season he will likely win that place. Leicester do not intend to replace Michael, so I think Iverson could get that number 1 spot. I'm betting on him. You can go for Ward. I don't know which one. It's kind of a 50-50 guess. I think Iverson will get the number 1 spot. That's why I'm going with him. Now, like I said, I've gone with Patterson, I've gone with Andreas, and I've gone with Greenwood. Greenwood is there because I think he could get some minutes. He's probably not going to start games for you, but he might come on as a sub. Now, Andres Pereira, he is probably nailed in that Fulham side. He's going to be a key player for 4.5 million. Let's not complicate it. He's in on the bench. Hopefully we don't have to use him too much. Now on the screen you can see the code for my mini league, RBIT17. Now do consider joining the mini league. I am aiming to do some content in relation to the mini league, showing the people who are leading it, maybe even showing their team, speaking about them a little bit. So if you want to be represented in a YouTube video, you might just want to consider joining my league. There are about 65 to 70 people in there right now, so we're trying to get this up to 100. Help us grow. Help us get some people in there. Also, do consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. But without further ado, let's get into the next draft. So the first draft was a tad safe. This draft is not as safe. It's a little bit out there. You're missing Cancelo, you're missing Robertson, you have the double Leicester 4.0 goalkeeper rotation, well not even rotation, but just the goalkeeper battle. You have Son, you have Salah, you have Haaland. That's the big thing. This is the premium draft. A premium draft I quite like. You have your 5.5 million midfielder and 5 million midfielder as everyone else. You have Jesus like everyone else. Now, the main sacrifices happen in defense. You still have Trent, but you're downgrading Cancelo to Walker, who probably doesn't do much. You still have Perisic. You could downgrade him and upgrade Walker, or you could try and upgrade James if you don't like James. But I think this isn't too bad, and I might still go with this, maybe tweak 1 or 2 players here or there. But all in all, I think the other draft is safer and I'll probably end up going on that one. So now just back on the team a little bit. The places that might change, I think I'm fairly settled on this draft. It's more template and it's a little more how I usually start the seasons. So I usually start the season with a fairly template draft because it allows me to keep up with the masses and just one or two punty areas, just like Aronson is. He's a little bit of a punt. I'm just going with him. Saka, not a lot of people going with Saka. It seems like most people are going with Martinelli, which is nothing wrong with that. I just think Saka is more vital to our Arsenal play and will get more minutes on the pitch. Now, Aronson is my punty move. Bailey, he'll probably lose his place after game week 3, but this is the team I'm going with. Those two are kind of the places that I'm still kind of considering how I can upgrade. I kind of want Rashford into this side. I'm still trying to figure out how I can get him in. But I'm fairly settled on this team. The reason I've gone with Robertson because of Diaz, I just want to touch on that in the end. Robertson, and I spoke to a couple of Liverpool fans, and they came up with a good point. Now, Diaz will probably get rotated. He will play with Jota, he will play with Darwin and more players. So Robertson will only have Tsimikas. Robertson will probably start a bunch of games. Now, Tsimikas will probably get rotated in once or twice because of the 5-sub rule, but Diaz might actually start on the bench a couple of times and he might actually come on, do nothing, get you 1 point, and for 8 million I just can't take that risk when you have a fully operational Robertson in defence who looked better in the Community Shield in my opinion. The eye test, he passed the eye test. Diaz was a little less involved in my opinion. I think Diaz was making runs to create space for Robbo, so I want Robbo who's running into that space, trying to create something, trying to score the goals. That's who I want, not Diaz. Robbo costs 1 million less, so I don't see the problem here. It was kind of a Dalot and Diaz, Dalot at Man United and Diaz at Liverpool together, or Robertson and Aronson. So I think this is the way to go, although I might be wrong and you can go and make up your own mind. It's like I always say, play your own game. Now, before I end the video, I just want to say that the caveat applies that I might still change this. I might go with the freemium, but if I know myself correctly, this is the one I'm going with, maybe with 1 or 2 tweaks. I will post the final team on Twitter, so do follow me there if you want to see the final team reveal. But that's all for today's video, guys, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.